Hello, my name is Alsta and welcome to a very exciting topic of creating a calculation for Croning accessories in Black Desert Online on the example of Deboreka. Um, I will guide you through my solution, which is just a modification of my Failstack Designer. So yeah, you can hopefully follow along if you have your own solution. Of course, you can stop the video, create your own solution, or just have it ready and compare it to mine. And yeah, it's a very interesting example because it's probably the most complicated single item you have in Black Desert for calculation purposes. So yeah, it's interesting because it has three outcomes, being downgrading, staying, and upgrading, compared to the usually two outcomes you have when upgrading in Black Desert. Info up front. Yes, again, PowerPoint presentation. All calculations are average based. So for the Deberekas, because your quantity is so low, you may experience quite a big spread when attempting this in game. So you can be either very lucky or unlucky. That's both perfectly possible. So it's just theoretically chance optimization here. I would recommend that you have a decent understanding of my Failstack Designer, just so you can follow along easier. Content of this video. In the last two videos, I did discuss the formulas I use. We created my Failstack Designer from scratch, and in this video specifically, we will modify the Failstack Designer for the accessory cron calculation, and we will discuss the results for the Deboreka crons in the end real quick. Recap: a click is a single click on enhance. A failstack is a sequence of multiple clicks, which is in this specific example not different from any different from a click, because we will only use a click, one click per failstack, and a failstack system is a combination of multiple failstacks, which we will abuse to get the results. Quick information for cronstones, in case you're not aware: every attempt costs cronstones, whether you fail or not. If you fail, the item will no longer be destroyed, but in case you fail, to my understanding, you have a 40% chance of the fail chance to degrade the item. It's not a flat 40%. That's an important distinction there. The chances, same as before, you have a base chance per item level, but different from before, we will look at soft caps. So, for example, for a base, you have a soft cap at 18 failed stacks. Up until the soft cap, the chance calculation is the same as before for Reblath, but starting from the soft cap, one possible formula I wrote down here is you have the soft chance, so it's 70% chance for the 18 fail stacks for the base, and after that, every additional fail stacks give you 1/5 of before or 1/50th of the base chance. So yeah, and from my knowledge, all of these accessories have a hard cap at 90% chance. I wrote down the Cron stones for Deboreka as well, so you can just use them. And yes, wait, did I mistype that? No, that's fine. Yeah, so we will use them in a second. Quick excursus to profit calculation. Yeah, a profit, because that's probably what a lot of you will use this for. You have the sell price times after tax minus the cost. After tax is just the 65% base you get, and on these 65 you get an additional 30% for the value pack, 1.5% for the family fame, and 5% if you have the merchant ring, for example. For the cost in total is the Failstack cost, the Cronstone cost, and the item cost. And that's why I have the slide here. If you grind the items yourself, which is common for the Deboreka, and you want to sell them for profit, you have to include the item cost. Now you may say, it doesn't cost me anything, I grind it on my own. Every item you grind on your own and you use in your own enhancements, the cost of those is the money you could get if you would sell it on the marketplace. So the item cost is the item price in the marketplace times the after tax. So if the item has a worth of 1 billion silver and you use it on your own and you grind it on your own, the effective cost of this item is, if you do not have the merchant ring, is 855 million. Okay, just so on the same page, you have to include that. Otherwise, you might calculate it too good and effectively lose money. Okay, and then just the translations of the Excel commands again, because I again use Excel in German, similar to last video. So if you want to follow along and do not have the German version, yeah, here you see the commands. So let's switch to Excel. On to Excel, the fun part of this whole video and this whole example. So first off, let's start from the left and change everything. We have to copy the Reblath sheet for now, because we just want a new sheet. We start from the point where I left off in the Failstack Design creation. So we just copy the sheet and name it Deboreka, so we know what it is. The 14, we don't have that. We instead have base level, pri level, duo, try, tet. We have to change the base chances to 25%, 10%, 7.5%, 2.5%, 0.5%. Then we have to locate the caps. It's the soft cap is 70%, 40%. Whoops, no, it's not that. Sorry, it's here the 40 stack with 50%, 44 stacks for on duo click to try, 110 stack for try to tat, and I'm not sure there even is a soft cap for tat, but it's so high that it does not matter for us. Then we have to modify the formula. We will use the soft chance, which is the 70%. The failstack increases by 1/50th of the base chance for every failstack above the soft cap, so 18 failstacks. We lock that by pressing F4 again, close the bracket, so the multiplication affects this whole bracket, and we have the correct formula. We can now drag that down, and as you can see, for 58 we reach the 90%, which is the hard cap, so we just color that in and type in the 90% afterwards, drag that down, so we have 90% for every failstack after that. Now we do the same for all the other percentages, so it's the soft chance, 1/50th, open the bracket, minus soft cap, lock it, close the bracket, formula done. Do the same here. Oops, where am I? Here. Yeah, that's correct. 1/50th, open the bracket, minus the 44, lock it, and we have these two formulas, which are both the updated ones, and now we can just drag both of them down. We have not reached the soft cap there yet, so the 90%, so we don't have to change that. We will just change the number here to 112, so it's the correct one. 1/50th minus 110. You could of course just type in 110, but I prefer to keep the formulas if I use them, and drag that down all the way to here. So now we want to of course extend the failstacks, because Deboreka usually uses something in the 300s for the last one. As you can see, these three have not reached the hard cap yet, being 90%, but this one here has, so we color it so we can't find it if it's interesting. where the cap is, drag down the 90% so it's safe. And like this, we have updated all the chances. So go further left, right. Do we need all of this? No, we can delete it. Not really interesting for us here. Instead, the interesting things for us are the cron cost. So cron cost, we have base, whoops, pry, do, try, tet. Cron cost being 95, 288, 865, 2405, 11,548. If these are not correct, you can of course just change the numbers, or if you want to look at a different item, you can change the numbers. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We do not have any more inputs we need to define here for now. So just leave that and go further to the side. This one we will change to base. We will do our base click calculation here and go pry, duo, try to the right. For now, we can just delete all of those, mark them, control minus to just delete them, and we want to see our calculation stuff. We don't need all of this here. We can just delete that, and we were in the, yeah, it's small already. So what do we need here? We do not really need a start point for the way I did it. You can just, if you want to keep it, yeah, but I prefer to just select my stack here. So for example, 58, I will give it some color so you can see, you can type something in here. Then reruns, it's not really reruns, it's more how often do I have to click on this item, on this file stack to get the upgrade. So we will call it clicks. For cost, we have two different types of costs now. We have cron cost, which is interesting for us, and with base cost, which is interesting for us. You can, of course, include failstack cost and all that, but we will do that later. So let's get this a bit down, just so there's some space, and get all of this down a bit so there's even more space. So can I, no, can I do it like this? Yes. So we have what we can produce and use: base, pry, do, try, tet, pen, right? So that's, so far it's the same. The formulas, we will look at them in a second. So we will just change them around. For now, we want to only have this row, right? Because nothing changes, chances don't change, failstacks don't change, so one row should be more than enough. So we do click on base. Now we want to have the chance here, so we don't really need this formula here. We want the 100% and do it in the second row. We can just do it in first. All of these take the chance of the first one, because the way the calculation works is, if I have a 61 stack and I click on duo, it takes the chance of the 61 stack, and if I fail this click, I do get this stack. This is not really what we need here. So these, by the way, I can already delete. They're not too interesting, and yeah, we don't really need these formulas here as well. We will change all of them, so just we can delete all of that for now. So, but because we only have one fail stack, which is the same for all of them, we can just look at the fail stack and get the chance we have here. So now it takes the chance, the base click from here, the 58 stack, and it gives us the chance. But because on the Rebloth sheet we had 14 and not base, we have to change the name we're searching for, and now it works, right? If it's, for example, 18, we have the 70%. If it's 32, which is if you apply a 30 stack and you have a base fail stack of +2, the base enhancement chance, that's what you get. So 77%, which is probably what a lot of you have, and 58, which is the maximum. If we, for example, type into 60, we still have the 90%, And that's why we hard-coded the 90 and just dragged it all the way down, because if we did not do that, we would get an error here. So we would have a no value or divided by 0, something of that along the line. So that's why we dragged it down. But let's put 58 for now. Then what do we have here? We have the chance, but let's change that because we have multiple chances. So this one here is upgrade. Okay, we have an upgrade chance of 50%. We have a state chance, and we do have a downgrade. These are all the possible scenarios we have when we click. Then we have a cron cost, and we have a base cost. Oops, base. This, by the way, is just control plus again, so you can add extra columns, extra rows, and all that. So what is the stay cost? Let's go to pry here and do it like this. The downgrade cost chance, as said before, is 100% minus the upgrade chance, so it's the fail chance, right? Times 0.4, which is 19% for pry on a 58 stick. But if we have a base chance, it says a 4% chance to downgrade. But because we're already on base, we cannot downgrade. It's not possible. There's nothing below it. So we have a 10% chance to stay. Meaning, if this one here is base, then the formula we need is we need 1 minus this chance. And if not, we have the normal chance. We have 1 minus this chance times 0.6, because it's 60% to stay on the same level and 40% to downgrade. So it's like this. And we of course wanted an percent like this. Okay. So we need the same one here. Oops, like this. We can just copy that in here. Instead of having the 10%, we want a 0 if it's base. If it's not base, we want to have the 40% like this. So now we have the chances regardless of what level we use. So if we have pry, the chances are calculated duo tat like that. Let's go back to base. It's 10% and 0% to downgrade. What is the cron cost? We can look up the cron cost. It's lookup, the command, and we want to check for this value here. Here it says base, and we want to search in the cron cost we had before. Where is the cost for base? So we lock it by pressing F4. The number we're searching for is in the second column, so the numbers here, and we type in a 0 because we want to have only accurate or exact results and not rounded or whatever. So yeah, the 0 here is important. So depending on whatever we press, it gives us the cost for the click. And what is the base cost? Usually, if it's pry, per click you need 1 base Deboreka belt, necklace, whatever. But if it's base, you need 2 of those, right? Because you have the one you're upgrading and you have the material you put into the upgrade. So if this one here is base, it's 2, otherwise it's 1. Just like this, right? So the base cost per click here is 2, and if it's pry, it's just 1. So let's go to the clicks here. It's divided by 0. how often do we have to click until we get the upgrade once? It's very simple. We want 1, so 1 divided by 90. So you have to click on average 1.1 times to get the result. For example, 300 stack, and you click on that, you have to click on average 6.5 times to get your pen. Okay? Just so we're clear what this means. So like this. Now the cron cost is how often do I have to click times what does each click cost me. So that's the cron cost, right? And same, no, base cost is not, let's leave that empty for now and let's do that in a second. Let's see what are the results. Here, that should be enough. The results I can have is I can produce a base. Either if I fail the enhancement on base level, or if I degrade while clicking on pry, right? So I have base produced, base used, I have pry produced, pry used. And the rest are just the duo, try, tet, pen, similar to what we had in the Reblath example. How many bases do I use? I always use the base cost per click, right? Always. How many pries do I use? Let's do all the use first. If this one here is pry, I use up 1 pry per click, right? Because the way I look at it, all the inputs, I'm not sure if I explained that already, all the inputs always are used up. If I click on base, I always use up 2 base. I can produce a pry, I can produce a new base. These are the 2 options there. Same if I click on a pry, the options are I can produce a duo, I can produce a new pry, or I can produce a base. But the input is always 1 pry, 1 base. So that's what we type in here. And if it's not pry here, we don't use up any. So like that, right? And we can just copy this one here. The same is true for duo, but of course we only use a duo if it's duo. Same is true for try, and same is true for tet. Like this, right? Now depending on what we click on, if it's pry, we always use a 1 base, 1 pry. If it's duo, we always use a 1 base, 1 duo. Try, tet. Okay, per click, of course. So let's go back to the base. How many base do I produce? Let's go step by step. If I click on base, how many base do I click? So it's if here, then, so you just have to change the then to if you're using the English version, of course. If this one here is base. If this is base, how many base do I produce? I produce 1 base in 10% of the cases. So 0.1 should be the correct answer here. If it's not base, first of all, nothing happens. We will do that step by step. But we will produce 0.1 base whenever we click. How many pries do we produce? Same thing again. If this one here is base, how many do we produce? We produce the upgrade 90% of the cases. Other than that, nothing happens for now. So let's go to the sum here. yeah, just we can delete those for now. How many base do I produce? Base produced is in this column right here, times the amount of clicks, right? Because whenever I click, I produce 0.1 base, but I have to click 1.11 times to get it. So by the time I have one upgrade, which norming it to that has an advantage, we will discuss later, I will have created 0.11 base for just this click. So like this. And we, of course, these are too many numbers for us, so just make it smaller. How many have I used? I have used the amount of base times how often have I clicked, right? That's similar, same thing. And now you can already see the difference is 2.11, meaning the base cost I had is 2.11 base Deborekas on average, right? So here we have the base cost for getting a pry once, and the advantage is this is one fail stack I have to introduce, because if the fail stack is gone, I have gotten the upgrade, and because we have gotten one pry produced, I can show you that here. It's the same. It's sum of how many pries do I produce times how often do I have to click, and that's 1, right? Of course, because we had the clicks by what's the chance to upgrade. So this here is one fail stack, and that is easier to implement the fail stack cost later on, or prepare the amount of fail stacks instead of we would norm everything to the amount of clicks we need. So yeah, that's quite good for us. And let's finish this section here. So how many pries do I use? I use up this many pries times the amount of clicks. Why do we use the sum? If I would just use the cell, it's duo produced, this cell here, times the clicks, that works, that's 0. But here's no formula. So if I had did this formula here already and would times it by this would give us an error message, because this minus here is not a value. We can circumvent it by just using the sum. It's not nice. There's probably better ways to design that, but it works. And if you want to have a nice one, you can, of course, change it yourself to fit your needs. But as you can see, that works. Let's do it for all the other ones. Try produced times the click. Try used times the click. Tat produced times the click. And tat used times the click. And oops, pen produced times the click. That's everything. There is no pen used because you cannot upgrade a pen further. So let's finish these formulas we need here. We have everything for base, right? If we click on pry, what are the options? We can produce, of course, the base. If we do downgrade on pry, we produce one base. So if this one here equals pry, we do want to have the downgrade chance. If it's not that, we want nothing. So that works, right? So like this, less numbers for all of that. So we every time we click, we will produce 0.9 base. Let's just for now mark all of this, so we can probably speed up the process of formula creation. Here we have the same thing basically, right? If it's pry, we want something, but this is what's the chance for it to stay. If we click on pry, what's the chance to produce a pry? It's about 28%, so 0.28. What's the chance to produce a duo? If it's pry, the chance to produce a duo is the upgrade chance, like that. So we have all the values here, and the advantage we have, what do we use, what do we produce, and the difference is here, right? So on average, to create a duo Deboreka necklace, for example, you will need 1.5 base Deborekas, you need 1.35 pry Deborekas, and you will get one duo Deboreka. That's the same for all the others as well. So duo. Can I produce a base Deboreka? No. Duo, let's go one down, it's pry. How many pry can I produce? Here. So we change this one out to, instead of pry, we have duo, and R18. Wait, what did I do here? Let's go back. I confused myself. That's very good. Ah, yeah, of course. If, oops. So, if this one here equals duo, the chance to produce a pry is the chance to downgrade. Like this. We can, of course, again, select this here. So, and enter, and it should be the 0.23. The chance to produce a duo is, instead of the downgrade chance, is of course the stay chance. And chance to produce a try is of course the chance to upgrade. Like this, right? So we have everything again. We can produce a pry, we can produce a duo, and we can produce a try. So let's go on up. Try one down is duo, so we can produce a duo. When do we produce a duo? If we click on try, and we have the chance to downgrade, which is R18. Is that correct? Yeah, that should work. Whoops, what did I do here? 0.33, 0.33, so that's fine. What's the chance for us to produce a try? If we click on try, the chance to produce a try is the chance for it to stay on the same level. What is the chance to produce a tat? It's the chance to upgrade it. Like this. Wait, did I not? Ah, yeah. I did not change the... Like this. Now it works, right? Yeah. 0.33, 0.33, 0.5, and 0.17. So that's fine. Last one is tat. So what is the chance to, what are the results? If we click on tat, we can produce a try. So if we click on tat, we have the chance for it to downgrade. So we copy that again. So 39%. What's the chance to produce a tat is if it just stays the same. And what is the chance to produce a pen? The chance to produce a pen is the chance to upgrade the item. So with that, we have everything set up to allow for the summation and the calculation of the complete system for enhancing Deboreka. Right? Let me just check on my second monitor really quick if I have it correct of all the numbers. Right. Yeah, look good. Perfect. So now we can, of course, whoops, here we want to mark where everything ends, so we just give it some color or some gray, right, like that. And we do not need all of this, right? The calculation is done there, but we don't need to see it, so we can just mark it again and hide it like that. So we have our base calculation here, and it's base, right? Now, what do we want to have? We want, of course, to calculate the whole system. So this one here is pry. Oops. Hello. This one here is duo. Try. Tet. So let's name them accordingly. Pry. Duo. Try. Tet. And what do we click here? Of course, we click tet. We click try. We click duo. And we click pry. One problem we have now, of course, the way we set it up is to type in the stacks we use, we have to scroll all the way down. So it would be way more comfortable if I would just have that here, right? So let's just type in the stacks I use. And that's for base, for pry, which is just these values here, right? So like this. And let's type whatever. Let's type 60, 60, 60, 110, 300, for example, like this. And all these are, of course, something you can type in. And now we will link to those values, allowing us, if we want to change something here, for example, whoops, we can change it further back. I had this one, right? This one here is duo. This one here is the try. And this one here is the last one. Of course, you should not change these values here anymore. So, oh, this is, can I do it like this? Yeah. We want to make them white again, just so we're not confused later on, like this, right? Perfect. Now, what is the interesting point? We want to balance everything to get one pen, probably. So let's look at pen. We have the base, we have pry, duo, try, tet, and the sum of everything, right? We have a ratio, we have Cron cost that is interesting for us, and we have base cost, which is these two values are what interests us the most, right? So there's no sum needed. We want to have the sum of all the cron costs, of course, because that's the total cron cost. And we want to have the sum of the total base cost, because that's how many bases do we need. So like this, let's make that one fat. And for the calculation here, we just get those, right? Like this. So now we can set up the final calculation, basically. Let's start with the produced stuff. How many base do I produce? Wait, there's colors there. I don't like that. Like that. So I will produce the amount of times I do the base one, lock it, times how many bases do I produce in the base one. I will produce the amount of how often do I click on pry, lock it, for the price stack. I hope this is basically self-explanatory. Why I can just sum them up like this. And this. So now I have the total amount of how many price do I bases do I produce in sum when I do all of these once. And this of course means I do click on Duo, for example, 2.33 times on the item on the Duo stack. But this is how many do I get? And because I locked all of those the ratios here, I can just drag them and it calculates the rest, right? And now here we do have the advantage. This ratio here is equal to the amount of stacks we do need. We do need exactly one TAT stack, which is here the 300 stack, or it's the pen stack basically. It's the stack from TAT to pen. We need one of those, because if we don't have the stack anymore, we do have the item, right? And this value says it gives us more information than if we had the 6.45 clicks there, because that's just, okay, how often do I have a click? Nice, cool, but there's no additional information there. So by norming everything to you get it once, that's advantageous that we just see the stacks here, and you can prepare the necessary amount of stacks for these here. Just go over a bit, but yeah, in the general outline. And of course, we can do these here. What is the cron cost there? The cron cost is how often do I have to click that, right? Times what's the cron cost? And same here. What's the base cost? It's how often do I do it times the base cost. All right? Again, less numbers like this or like this and fat. So this one here times the cron cost here. This one here, this times the base cost, and just do that for all the rest. There might be a faster way to do it, but I'm not too sure, honestly. If I click on try, times the try cost, and if I click on tat, it's times the tat cost. Yeah, you could copy it, and yeah, let's do like this. You can just copy that like that and go one down. So now it's on the correct, wait, yeah, here. Now it's on the correct cell. Let's do it like that, and I don't have to scroll that much. this one. Like this, right? So now we have all the correct values from down there, and we have that. But as you can see here, we have one pen, which is perfect. We have too little tats. We have too many tries, too many do's, too many pry, and too little base. But that's just the base cost, right? This number here has to be identical, and it is. So that's fine, right? But now we want to fix the ratios. The 1 is okay. This is the final goal. We want to have 1 pen. Now, how often do we have to click on a try Deboreka to get the tat one, right? We want to have, how many do we need? Wait, let me check out how I did that on the other one. I did use absolutes, yes. Okay, let's select that here. ABS for absolute, probably. And we want to have, how many tats do I need? I have 3.18 too little, right? So I want to have 3.18, and every time I do the try one, I create 1. So it's the 3.81 divided by the 1 I get out. Doing this, less numbers again, like this, will give us an amount of how often do we click on try to have exactly 0 tat too many, which is rather self-explanatory, right? Now, for the next one, we want to balance out the tries, right? So how many tries do I need? I do need the 3.2 times how many here? How many tries do I have too little here? I have to multiply them because I do this whole section here 2 times. So instead of the about 2, I have about 6, right? 3 times as much. So I multiply them, but, and this is the interesting part here, I do not need to create all of those, these, let's round them up to 6 or round it down to 6. I do not need to create all of those by clicking on the duo, because I already have, how often have I clicked on tat and degraded to try. So this value here, that should work. I should not have, yeah, let's check that out if that works in a second. Because of the plus minus and all that, you have to fix them manually, of course. And I divide that by how many do I get. And how many do I get? I get 1.53 every time I do that. Like this. And did it work? No. Why did it not work? Let me check out the formula again. Did I make a mistake there? Let's go step by step. Here. We have times this. Ah, yeah, because I'm negative here. So, of course, instead of calculating minus, I have to sum them up, right? Because I want to have this value here as no, this value here as positive, and if this here is negative and this is positive, if I subtract, I make the total value or the absolute value bigger. It gets more negative, but I want to reduce the value, the absolute. I want to reduce the amount of tries, so I have to calculate plus here. So that's fine. Hopefully that explanation was possible to follow along. There's still some mistake. Why is there still a mistake? Wait, what? Let me change the stacks on my second sheet real quick to, oh yeah, like this, to find my mistake, because I'm not too sure. It works here. 3.2, that is correct. It should be 3.97 here. That is this. Wait, what did I? This? On tries, yes. Ah, yeah, this one here is of course wrong. Now it should work. Now it works. Perfect. Okay. Quick error there, but that's fine, right? So now we can just copy this here to here, and we move these up once, because the way we want to Bezug in German. Sorry, I'm missing the English word there. And we can just draw, whoops, this one here. It's basically the same formulas, but we can modify the cells where we're looking into, like this, and the formula is modified very quick, right? So again, just move up where we're looking into. Man, get this one here, get this one here, get this one here. That should work, like this. So that's a calculator. We're done. This is it. This is the total amount with these fail stacks. You get one pen. You have this base cost. You have the base cost here as well, and the sum of cron stones you need. And now you could calculate what's the expected cost. What fail stack do you want to have? Whatever, right? For example, what a lot of people do, let's talk about overstacking real quick. Why I don't believe it's as interesting as a lot of people believe. They have stacks here, let's say 280. Yeah, that's probably what a lot of people were at. The tri-stack, what did you do? 150 maybe. The duo 100. For Pry, what did you use? 80. About that. Yeah, probably here the hard cap. I would assume that's what most people would do. Okay, so we have these values here, 113,000 cron stones and 33 base Devorekas. Now, let's get these to reasonable levels, right? Let's say 50, 50, 50 to keep them all on the same level. All of these are above the soft cap. We could, of course, just type in the soft cap to make the 32, because, of course, you apply that one. And let's just put the soft caps here. Okay? Now, if you look at the difference, it's not that much. It's like 4,500 cron stones, which is okay if you vendor them 15 billion and a few more hours of grinding Deborekas, but the difference isn't that big, right? You already invest so much money that it doesn't really matter that much. Of course, you don't have to just use the soft caps. If you have higher stacks, use them. But if you, for example, just do all of them to 60, you're at 116. So that's not too bad already, right? And if you have some higher stacks, let's say 120, the difference is even less big, as you can see with the numbers. And let's look at the most interesting thing. Let's say you have a decent stack, not the 280, but for example, I personally have 330, right? So if I do that, that instantly is like, if you compare it to this one here, the way over stacking, it's, if you vendor them, about 40 billion cheaper just from the crons. So the most important factor for upgrading the Deboreka is only your pen stack. All the rest is not that interesting. You could, of course, now, or we could, I'm not sure, can I do that really quick? If I just copy them, nah, it's fine. You could, of course, copy all of that and get it to where you have the 1 here and the 0 there, right? Okay, that already worked. So that's a tet now. And you could play around with the stacks here. This stack here doesn't matter, of course, because you don't click on it. But what's the difference between the way over stacking and meaning if you do it for profit, you have to generate the stacks, which is pretty annoying probably. You have to calculate the cost for probably some very weird fail stacks that are way too expensive. So I'm not too sure if it's reasonable to overstack that much for even enhancing for profit, right? I mean, it's 13,000. If you do real weird stacks like 60, 90, 100, 150, it's, you save maybe 3 billion for really fucking expensive fail stacks, right? I wouldn't be too surprised if this here, the amount that costs you more, equals to around the 3 billion. You have, of course, less bases you need. It's 2.5, and if we reduce them again, it's 4.5, so maybe 4 hours more of grinding. Well, that's, the difference isn't that big for the extra effort you have to put into overstacking that much. If, of course, you have the fail stacks lying around, just use them. But if you go for pen, just get higher pen stacks. This is the only factor that matters really a lot, right? Uh, then again, how do you get very, very high fail stacks? Just raw tap your black stars to pen. If you get it, you probably have it cheaper. And if you don't get it, you have a decent fail stack. Me personally, for example, I recently got my first pen black star on my 63rd attempt, I believe, since I started writing it down. And I did basically have 3 times the 330 stack. The pen went on 325, which was my last click, but I have 2 330 stacks for a black star that was, of course, a bit more expensive, but on the counterpart, I now do have the really amazing stacks. So yeah, but you can decide that for yourself, of course. So wait, can I go back to, yeah, the setup? Okay, that was it. Thank you for watching. Have fun playing around with it. And of course, what you can do, you can modify this whole thing here if you want to make it more complex, for you want to look at one specific click. You want to know if I enhance to duo normally and do the try and tet clicks with cronstones, is that cheaper, or do I enhance only to pry and to do duo try and tat clicks with crons. Is that the best option? It works the similar way. Just balance the produced, used, the way you click them, and you should get the expected value. You will have only upgrade, and you do not have stand, you do not have downgrade here, and then you can just calculate basically a normal click. So that was it. Thank you and have fun.